Any mistakes we make, I can just edit it out. Welcome to Safe Zone, Curtis, Solomon, Christina. I should have said Christina first.
Should say Christina first.
So this is Christina Caradice, and she is joining us today. We're going to talk about some real issues that we are facing in the community. So this is Safe Zone, and Solomon and I have set this up to, as a product to awaken people as to what's really going on in their communities. More specifically the church, I guess, to say, look, this is what's in the community. How can we evolve? We can't unless we know really what's to come. So I'm looking forward to what Christina has to say. She's got quite a few years in gangs work. I don't want to introduce you too much because I might get it wrong, but you've got some experience that we want to hear about because it's intense, and we had a lot of conversation on the way down.
Yeah.
What do you do, Christina?
What do I do? So I'm a youth worker. I've been doing it for I was actually a youth worker when I was still a youth, which is a bit weird. So I was actually working amongst my peers. But properly, I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And I currently work in a London borough, and I just work with girls. And it's in the areas of CSE, which is child sexual exploitation. I'll explain that a bit more later. And gangs. And in there is working with young people that go missing, substance misuse. There's a lot of things that get thrown into there. But I do one-to-one work with girls, and I also do group work. And it's all about trying to get to the root of the issue, as into why they're being referred to me in the first place for me to have to work with them. And each young person has their own stories, but there is a common thread throughout them all, which I think we'll get onto. I do youth work, absolutely love it. No 2 days are the same. It is difficult, it is hard work. The most important thing is having that relationship with that young person. A young person's not going to open up to you, not going to tell you about their problems or even admit that they have a problem if you don't have a relationship with them, if you're not relatable.
Why do you do this work?
For me, I always say this to young people that I work with, is that I wish that I had me or someone like me to just talk to when I was younger. I grew up on a council estate in South London. Actually, I'll say where it was. It was Brixton, because I'm proud, I'm proud. Went to school in Stockwell. And for me...
That's the front line of... Get
front line of so much. I don't care. No one used to come and visit us. Family did not visit us. Christmases were lonely if they were at our house. Wow. Because your car would get broken into or robbed. Like if you came to my estate.
Wow.
When I was younger, it got better as I got older, because everyone got arrested and when I went to prison, they had like a sweep throughout the whole estate, and it actually happened. There was a sweep. I remember hearing the raids, like the police just swooped in on everyone, and a lot of them went to prison. But anyway, on my estate, so my dad lived a Stocker Park estate. And my mum lived on Codarby Lane, not very far from each other. But even though they weren't far from each other, there was rivalries. And why I do the youth work that I do now, and it's involved with gangs, is that I'm very confident that if I was a male, I would have been in a gang, either from Stocker Park Estate or from my dad's side.
So you're saying that you would be?
I think I would have, because I feel like it was either that, or I would have been seen as someone, as a target, the victim. I didn't get that pressure because I'm a girl. I didn't get that pressure because I was a girl. But I had male peers, and I saw that. And to be honest, no one called it a gang. No one called it a gang. It was a crew, and a lot of the boys on the estate, they hid behind like music. But I would have had to, number one, I would have had to have chosen if I was Stockwell, or if I was Brixton, even though my dad's estate was literally out of one window was Stockwell and out of the other window was Brixton, like it's very hard to choose. But if I was a boy, I would have had to, and I think I would have chosen to not be a victim, if I'm honest. But as a girl, I didn't have to go through that, but there was other things that I saw and I witnessed, and I'm going on to something else now. But I'll go back to the question, which was, why do I do this? I wish that I had someone to talk to on a level that I could confide in and build a relationship with. And that is what a lot of young people said that I am to them. They like meeting up with me. They like talking to me and having someone to talk to, and someone that can just support them and just talk to them about real stuff. And there's no judgment and there's no nothing. I'm just there to help and support them. So I just want to be that to a young person.
So you're trying to be to someone what you never had.
Yeah.
But you know that's what they need.
Absolutely.
So you needed someone to.
Yeah. I mean, there were some people that came close. There were some people that came close, like youth leader in church. But still, because they were youth leader in church, I felt like I couldn't be 100% real because they know my mum and they know my dad. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to pour my heart out and tell you everything, thinking that they probably wouldn't have gone to them, but it's a sphere
It's too close.
It's too close. Obviously, with the young people that I work with, lots of them, I meet them in Starbucks or in Creams or whatever. I'm different. I'm not home, I'm not church, I'm not school, I'm not police, I'm just me. Do you know what I mean? And it's up to them where they want to meet me and stuff like that. It's being what they want you to be, basically, and where and stuff like that.
So I remember you saying earlier when we were talking that no 2 days are the same.
Nah.
Give us, so it's difficult to ask this question, but give us an example of what a day would be like for you at work.
Okay, so today I spent majority of my day in a sexual health clinic with one of my young people.
Is it possible to give us an age range?
Age range, yes. So
of maybe this young person.
Oh, so the young person I was with today was in the age bracket of
between
14 to 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So today,
well, this morning I was at a strategy meeting, which anyone is out there that's a social worker, youth worker, you know what that is. It's where lots of professionals get together and try to come up with a plan, because I currently have a young person that's been missing for about a month. So it was a strategy meeting to try and figure out what we're going to try and do to find them and what we could do. So that was my morning. It was just supposed to be an hour. It was a lot longer than that. Then I met up with one young person in Starbucks and spoke to them for about an hour. I had a session with them. Then I met another young person and went to the sexual health clinic and was there for forever. So that's one day. And then another day, I might be in a school. I go into lots of the schools in the borough, and I'm very passionate about prevention, so preventative work. So getting into the schools as early as possible. So year 7, actually year 6 would be better.
What age is year 6?
Year 6 is 10.
11.
I'm just saying. Because
Well, it depends, you
I'm
have
from the
to
90s
tailor
year,
it.
so I know first year.
Yeah.
How old was I? I think I started when I was 11, just fresh 11.
Yeah, I started secondary school when I was 11 because I was one of the older ones.
So year 7 is about 10. You need to get in that age, is what you're saying.
You have to, because in this day and age, young people are like, in their minds, they're a lot older. They're being exposed to a lot more. Social media, a lot of them, they're talking about bae and goals and, do you know what I mean? They're looking at relationships. They're looking at so many different things as something to aspire to be in that relationship with someone, just to be able to post a picture on Instagram of matching, clothes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So they're talking, girls are talking about boys more, boys are talking about girls more, which means they're all talking about sex more. So if we're waiting until they're year 9, year 10, a lot of them, they've been in a relationship, their virginity is gone a long time ago.
Age 10.
Some. Or even if it's not sexual intercourse, it's sexual contact or sexual, something, which is actually happening a lot with young people now. They're not actually going the full way, but still they're having that contact with the opposite sex. So sometimes waiting until it's already been done is like it just adds to my work. So it's a lot better if we could get in before and be like, if you are going to do this, or just try and make them think of why, and are they ready, are they mature, are their bodies mature, or just getting them thinking. Because if no one's getting them thinking, and if no one's coming to them on a level and just telling them don't do that, for a lot of young people, tell them don't do it, you've got to do it. You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to rebel. Do you know what I mean? So prevention. So you was asking about different days. So some days I can be in school, some days I'm sitting around and I'm waiting for young people to turn up that don't turn up. Do you know what I mean? That can be a whole day that I'll have in my diary, back-to-back meeting with this young person, meeting this, and no one turns up. Other days I'll be at a police station, or it varies. It all depends. So.
Okay, so you were talking about sometimes you feel as though the young people that you're faced with, there's not really much you can do because certain behaviours are so entrenched within them, so you feel as though you need to start earlier. Now, with youth workers, with youth groups, and with communities, with everyone that has an interest in young people, everyone has a theory. And I've always heard, and do you know what? I'll be honest, I've said this as well.
Okay.
That, there's certain factors with these young people, man. So the common one you'll hear is single parent home. Where's the dad? Where's the mum? So when the riots were taking place in 2011, I believe, people were like, where's the parents? Where are they? So I'm not saying that no more, because I know that even for someone like me, I came from a home where mum and dad they were both there. A lot of my friends who were involved in badness, mum and dad they were both there, and they still got involved. So for someone that's working with them on a day-to-day, what would you say are some of the common factors that you come across in your daily experience?
Is that what you mean, like factors that contribute to the situation that
yes.
of their behaviour?
Yeah.
you go there.
Take it there, man.
It's unfortunate because what you're thinking is actually true, and I'm sure you would probably prefer for me to kind of be like, no, that's a myth. It's not. It's not majority of one parent homes and stuff like that, but it is. And actually, the common thread usually throughout it is just some kind of dysfunction within the home.
What does that mean?
What does dysfunction mean? So under dysfunction, or what comes under dysfunction for me, why I say dysfunction is a lot of the young people, there's substance misuse at home, history of,
So you talk about parents? I'm
talking about parents. So when I talk about dysfunction, I'm talking about within the family home. So the parents, not so much a young person, because they're just a product of their environment. So another huge one is domestic violence. There being DV.
So
history of DV at home.
Dad is beating mom.
Yeah.
And they're seeing that.
Yeah.
And how does that reflect on a child?
A lot of the times, it will then make them angry and be a young person to want to lash out. You can't tell me nothing, and the way that they resolve situations is to hit or to punch, and then they get kicked out of school, and then and then it's just like a cycle, or they find themselves in abusive relationships.
So, I mean, I hate to be cliche.
Yep.
You're talking about girls going out with guys who they're replicating the relationship at home.
Absolutely.
So they're getting beaten.
Yeah, and not just beaten, because I'll go back to when I was talking about child sexual exploitation. A lot of the young people that I work with are being exploited, or they're being controlled. So that's another form of abuse. So they're getting into relationships where the male is very dominant. You go here, you do this for me.
Controlling.
Very controlling.
Yeah.
Like, you'll take this weed and you'll transport it to Portsmouth for me. Do you know what I mean? Just where the guy is very much in control, and that is abuse. But because they've seen abuse, and because abuse is normal, and I think with a lot of girls, because the abuse seems like it's bearable. Because if you're in a home, and you've seen abuse, but your parent is okay, it's bearable, isn't it?
So they're desensitized. That's real part. So really, we just want to remind everyone, we're talking about the age group of, say, youth. Youth is in our country is 9, 10
Yep.
to 17, 18.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of school kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the majority of the young people that I work with are 13, 14, 15. That's the majority.
That's school.
Yeah.
So you would say by then, by that age, it's not that it's too late, obviously. No. We're not saying it's too late, but we're not saying it's too late.
No.
But what we are
We'll
saying,
deal with that.
what we are saying
We'll deal with that.
is that those behaviours and those experiences are so entrenched within their person that it's very, very difficult for anyone to come along and try and show them something else.
Once a week
Yeah.
meeting.
Exactly. I feel like I love my job, and I say that all the time. But if never go into this work if you're someone who needs to see results.
Wow.
Don't do it, because
You see, he made a comment.
yeah.
There's hope, but I guess because we all do some kind of, I do youth work, and I know you've been there, right? And I actually am with you. I don't, in this current system that we have, I don't see a lot of hope, and I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Does that make me pessimistic? I don't know.
No, I think that this makes you real, and I think like we need to think that way in order to think of a new way to deal with the situation. Because if I'm going about, I think there is hope, but if I go around each day thinking, oh, do you know what, it'll be alright, most days I'm like, this is not going to be alright. This is not good. Something needs to happen right now. This needs to change in order to save this young person. There's a lot of young people, and it breaks my heart to say this, but I feel like I'm just helping them to stay alive.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing, and that's just with weekly meetings. And then if they don't meet up with me, then what? If I'm the only protective factor, if I'm the only person that's talking to them about this stuff, to be like, you know, like, why are you doing that? Like, come on, man, having that conversation, then that's not enough. If all the other days, let's go back to my line of work, being in a gang, being used by gangs, being exploited. If I'm seeing a young person every Tuesday, but
For how long?
Monday,
For how long?
for an hour. Some young people I can extend it, but I've got like 20 on my caseload. Do you know what I mean? So there are times when I am with a young person, I'm thinking, oh, do you know what, they need another hour, and I might have to cancel something or not turn up to meeting, but I can't always do that because there might be another young person that's waiting for me, and I don't know what the impact of me cancelling, do you know what I mean, their thing's going to be.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's like, for an hour a week out of this lifestyle of abuse, this lifestyle of risk taking and just living on the edge or whatever, an hour.
Wow.
I just feel like it's kind of like picture like a car, on the road to destruction. And like there's so many things being thrown at this car, and it's being battered and the wheels are falling off or whatever every single day, and they just come to me weekly and I just like clean the windows. That's how it feels.
Wow.
Just so they can see a bit clearer to like know kind of where they're going, but the cars still mash up. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm saying, if you're looking for results straight away, or if it has to be like, you know, the certain work that you do, that at the end of the day, like, yes, I did well, you know, at the beginning of the day it was like this, at the end of the day it's like that. Do you know what I mean? There's some girls that have been within our service for years. It was never designed for young people to stay within the service for years. You're supposed to come in, there's an intense piece of work done, And then at the end of it, it's supposed to be, you know, at the beginning there will be the desired outcomes, and at the end you see, you know, was this young person able to make this informed decision better? Were they able to stay away from this risky whatever, blah, 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 blah. But some, they're not, every time it's time to review it, they're even worse than they were at the start.
In light of everything you've said so far, very loaded question.
Okay.
And I know you're just one, you're just one person, but what needs to be done?
By whom?
Okay. Yeah. First
and foremost, I'm not going to talk about the parents.
Okay.
And what the parents need to do better, because that's a whole, that's something else. But in terms of a faith-based organisation, like the Safe Zone, or for example, putting it broader, more general, the church. Yeah. What does the church need to do? Okay.
Before I answer that, to give it some context.
Yes. Pause. We'll edit it. All right. So what are you going to talk about?
I was going to say a lot.
About what we were talking about earlier, about the girl?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any way you can say that? That's okay. Can you say that story? Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to say today or anything. I'm going to say there has been a girl on my caseload that has done that. So, in terms of faith groups, what they could do, I think first off, we need to acknowledge, or maybe let me give some information to let everyone out there know that I don't know if I should use the word majority, but a lot of young girls that would get referred into services like mine are from a religious home.
Wow.
Yeah? That is a common thread. I'll give you an example, because there has been a young person on my caseload before that has been of the Muslim faith, Islam, right?
And this is not about Islam. This is not.
No.
Just be
No.
Yeah, but
and obviously, sex out of marriage, like I think, can I say all religions? Majority of religions? I don't know. Yeah. Majority of religions is a no. You just don't do it. Yeah? You do not do it. You wait till marriage. So, why is it that I'm working with so many young people that are coming from these homes that say this? So I'm working with young people that are sexually active. So
putting this into context.
Yeah.
Their family goes to church.
Their family goes to church, or goes to the synagogue, or goes to the mosque, or goes to wherever.
Yeah. So they're practicing. Okay.
They're practicing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're practicing.
Yeah. And the question is why?
Yeah. I know why. Do you know why?
No, I want your story.
It's all about. Okay, let me not say all. A lot of it has to do with rebellion. Yeah, and I say that word, and I'm saying it so those within faith, you understand. You know what I mean when I say rebellion.
Yeah.
Lots of people say, "Oh, the young people just want to rebel. They want to rebel. Yeah, they want to go against the laws of the land. In terms of, when I say land, I mean their faith or their home." And obviously the girls that I work with, it's not just girls that are just having sex, but it's girls that are putting themselves in risky, dangerous positions, right? So it's not just that they're having sex and they're young, it's that it's very risky.
What do you mean?
What do I mean by risky? So some of them are being used within a gang. So say they'll date one boy in the gang, and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, my boys as well need peace." Yeah.
Hold on. You said church girls now.
Oh yeah.
The families are very like at the front of the church. They're the front of the church.
Yeah.
This is them.
Yeah.
And they got a kid.
Yeah.
A daughter.
Yeah.
And she's being passed around.
Yeah. absolutely.
Just to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens, and it's happened, and I'm about to say something that might get me in trouble, but I don't care. It's happened amongst peers when I was growing up.
What do you mean?
Like when I was growing up, this kind of thing was happening, being passed around, and this is us church girls. Do you know what I mean? Like girls that I know. Like, and yes, the question was why? One young person that I was talking to, she was like, her dad said to her, "You're going to hell, or you're not going to go to heaven, or you're not going to go to paradise," or whatever it was. So she turned around to me and was just like, "Well, if it's that I'm going to hell, then I might as well enjoy myself while I'm going to hell." And I think for a lot of young people that are brought up in really strict religious homes that do throw out a lot of, if you sin, this is what happens. You're going to die. You're going to go to hell, blah, 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 whatever. Some can get to the point where they're just like, well, bun this then. Like, why? What am I bothering for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the young person said to me, they said, obviously, I will hold it down. She says that way, I'll hold it down because I'm under my dad's roof. But the minute I'm out of here, or you know what he doesn't know, he doesn't know. But if he's saying that, you know, I'm not going to be forgiven or whatever it is, or this is just a no-no, whatever, then this is something that I want to do, so I'm going to continue doing it. So,
all right, you touched on something now. You open this box, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go in.
Take it there.
Like, it appears, right, that religion, and believe me, I'm a Christian, yeah, but religion seems to be a barrier.
Yeah.
In fact, it can be the cause of rebellion. Maybe it's the kind of religion. Because you believe in God.
Yep.
You're a Christian. You're a Christian. We all love God independently.
Yeah.
And I know you've been through a few things yourself, but you're here.
Amen.
Now, when you see young people who are willing to give their bodies to different guys just to be in, coming from a home that preaches God and lives a religious life, like we were speaking about earlier, what's the disconnect? There's a gap, there's something that's not reasoning for me.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, 1 + 1 should equal 2. So if you're coming from a home that is religiously stable, how can a child do that to themselves? What's missing?
In short, love.
Break that down.
I'll break it down. Okay, so I'll give you an example. When I was growing up in church, I saw those that were older than me, say they were teenagers, say I was like 9, 10, and they were 15, 16. So this is people that I looked up to, yeah? And they left the church, whatever that means.
Pause.
Oh, yeah.
It's recording. All right, look.
Let me double up because I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
This is funny.
You got your spade out?
Yep.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. They had left the church, yeah? Whatever that means. They left the building. They weren't coming regularly anymore, yeah? So, and you would hear lots of people in the church saying, oh, you know, this person's left, they've gone out in the world, Now, I witnessed, yeah, those same said people, say, come back on a youth day, their friends dedicating their baby, whatever, yeah? When they came back, visited, whatever, the minute they didn't even get their toe in the church, yeah, and straight away so much things will be hurled at them, yeah, like, where have you been? There's nothing out there in the world for you. Da, 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 da. And just like pull down your skirt. What is this in your ears? You know, just straight away. And I remember hearing, because I'm fast, so you know, listening in. You know, when they're talking to say like my older sisters and stuff like that, and they would say things like, you know, whenever I come, this is what I get. This is why I don't come. This is why I don't come. They just judge. It's this. It's hypocrites. It's this. It's that. Da 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 da. Now, let's just say, yeah, and it might be that whoever said that to these young people that had left the church said it because they missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because they missed them.
Yeah.
Cool. But why not show love? Why not just hug that young person and be like, I missed you. Are you alright? How have you been? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? And this is what I said about love, and it's showing love, and it's love in action. Because I feel like a lot of young people that have come from religious homes, they feel very condemned. Yeah? They feel very judged. And they feel like, I might as well go out there and stay out there, because when I come back, I'm not going to be shown love. I'm going to be ridiculed. And why am I going to come back for that headache?
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
If I say to you, you're bad, I mean, we know this in psychology already. If you keep saying to a child, I mean, they don't even really allow them to say it in schools now. You can't really keep telling a child they're bad, because what they say is that the child will replicate that. But if you want to turn the child's behaviour around, you've got to show them something positive.
Yeah. And they're going to remember that.
Yeah.
They're going to remember that, because I've heard that. I've had it myself. Do you know what I mean? I've had it myself when you've been away for a while. And let me just put in there something else. There's another thing. Just because you're not physically attending a church anymore doesn't mean you've left God and you have no faith and you don't love Jesus anymore and you've forgotten that he came and died for you and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's a different...
So, do you feel...
But that's the assumption.
Yeah.
And you get treated that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not all. It's not always that, speaking from experience.
Do you feel like these young people that you work with? Trying to think of how to say this without being too blunt, but do you feel as though whenever they see a faith-based organization coming to try and offer support or help, even if it's genuine or whatever, do you feel as though they're not going to receive it because of their preconceived?
I do, and I feel that it's going to take a lot of faith groups to do things properly before. Okay, let's just say Samsung is like deemed a really good phone now, but it took a while for people to like rate it because everyone was on iPhone. Do you know what I mean? So I do think that there needs to be a push for faith groups to really show young people the love of God. Do you know what I mean? It's love in action. It's loving everything that you're doing, and that's what's lacking. And you're always, I was saying this earlier to Curtis, is that if you just continue to love someone, just continue to love on them, even though you're disappointed, even though you're frustrated, even though you're looking and you're thinking, oh, why are you doing that? If you just continue to show them that love, after a while, that love is going to overpower everything else that is going on in that young person's life or anyone's life. This is across the board. Do you know what I mean? And that formula can be used in so many different ways. And a lot of the times where things fail is when that love gets taken away and frustration comes in and disappointment comes in, and do you know what I mean? And lots of times you will be frustrated and disappointed with someone because you love them and you want the best for them. But if the common theme throughout is, you know what, I'm just going to continue to love you. Whenever I see you, I'm going to hail you up, I'm going to hug you, I'm going to ask you. So let's just say, let's talk about the prodigal son. So while he was out there, for those who don't know, prodigal son, he left home. He asked his dad for his money, his inheritance, was like, give me my money, I'm going about my business, basically, and went out in the world and had a good time, partied, and all that kind of stuff. Then he had a moment when he realised, and he was like, whoa, hold on. I'm here, like, scraping for money, but back home, I'm good. And this is literal because I have, as I said to you before, I have a young person right now that's missing. They're probably outside looking around for money, looking around for food, looking around for shelter. I am worried sick about this girl. I could, hopefully God, when she comes back, first thing, where were you? Didn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because I care. Because I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
But you do care.
I absolutely care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I can straight away just go at her with all of that, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I extend to her love, just a hug, do you know what I mean? I'm so worried about you. If for any reason she decides to do it again, do you not think that will come to mind?
Yeah.
And do you not think that there's lots of reasons why someone doesn't come home? The reason why the prodigal son was able to come home is because he knew his dad loved him.
You could just come back.
If he didn't think his dad loved him, is he going to come back? And it's the same thing when I was talking about when people leave the church or leave whatever. Lots of times when they don't come back, it's like, oh, do you know what? Can you imagine the anxiety you feel coming back into something? Oh, everyone's going to be on to me. Everyone's going to be asking me this. Everyone's going to be that. Blah, 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 whatever. And it's the same with a lot of, the girls that I work with that go missing. They kind of, in their head, already know, when I come, my dad's going to kill me.
Yeah.
My mum's going to shout at me. They're going to make sure that I go to church every week now. I sit in the front of church because I've been so naughty and I've been bad. But if it's that, oh, do you know what? Let me just, what am I doing? My family love me.
Because people think that you're taking liberties with this community. You're dropping the standards, or you got to fit in like this. This is how we walk. This is how we talk.
That's how we dress.
This is how we dress. Yeah. And I'm worried. I mean, this is moving on slightly, but it's the same thing where we, Christina, you've done your thing. If you don't feel that you can come here, I can't look at you. I have to look at me.
Exactly.
Because if a child doesn't want to come home, why not?
Exactly.
That's the first thing social service is going to ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is your daughter on the street?
Yeah.
They're going to say, what's going on at home?
Yeah.
And parents a lot of the time will be styling it out and saying, no, we look after her. She eats every day. Nah, you're beating her, man, or the way you're talking to. There's something you're doing. There's something you're doing. It's not because the food ain't nice. You know what I mean?
One young person said to me, I saw one of my girls while she was missing. While she was missing. And and this is an example. So just imagine you're missing, yeah? This girl, she'd been missing for 10 days. And I just so happened, no, actually, let me scrap that. I never saw her, she saw me. And you know what she did? So she's missing, the police out for her, everyone. Jumped on my back, playing for you. Oh, miss. She's missing,
But she came to you.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to do when I turned around and saw it was her? Do you know what I mean? I was like, I had to think about what I was going to say. I had to think about what I was going to say. First thing I said, I was like, I've been worried about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's two things in that. She was missing and she wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
Put you on. But I could have walked past her.
Yeah,
she could have hidden from me.
Yeah.
She saw me. She said, I saw you coming off the bus. I didn't see her. I saw you coming off the bus. And she said, I thought I'll say hello. So I spoke to her. Pleaded with her now. She said to me, she said, I got in trouble. I said, what's this all about? She's just like, I got in trouble at school. And she's like, I called my mum down to the school. Yeah? She was like, hear what she said. She said, my mum gave me one look. And she said, I knew it was going to be curtains. She said, I haven't been home since.
Wow.
I could relate to it. I mean, I've never been in that situation, but I know culturally, same culture as us. Yeah. Culturally, I knew what that meant. I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? And that, I got it. I understood it 100%. I thought, yeah, you were actually fearing for your life.
You know what this reminds me of, yeah? I don't think many parents, especially in churches, will ever tell you. They will say, I did my best.
Yeah.
Yeah? And for me, your best could be completely wrong. I think this. Can I say it?
Say it. Whatever it is.
I think that. I'll come back to that point afterwards. I think that when people have children, the children won't necessarily stop loving them. That's picking it up. Let me pause. That sounds like toilets.
Toilets?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
But no one's used it. Why would it be?
He's got a timer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's picking up nicely.
You can tell, is it?
Yeah, you'll be able to tell that.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's ain't live, mate.
People will be like, oh.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think that, you know, if the gospel is sweet, you're going to come by. If I'm selling honey, you'll come by. You pick some up. But I think that what we're presenting as the faith, and we spoke about this earlier, what we're presenting as the faith isn't really necessarily the faith.
But this is, let me cut you there.
Yeah.
And then come back, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming into what I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Now, how much time do you spend with your young people typically? So each young person, how much time do you pour into that person in a week?
An hour.
An hour, yeah. But in that hour, there's something about your interaction with them that enables a girl who's missing to find you, jump on you, and say,
Come to you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That was wild. I kept on thinking about it afterwards, like, what?
so that leads to my
She's
question.
still missing after that.
This
She
is
didn't
it.
go home.
I'm sure she did. This is it. So that leads to my question, and I think I know the answer, but you're here for a reason. What are you doing with these
You know
young
what?
people that causes them to trust you? 'Cause I think that's what it is. It's trust.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even though I spend an hour with them, my phone,
It's
I
always
check in
Oh,
Check in.
throughout the week.
throughout the week.
That's-
Every day, WhatsApp is my thing. And do you know why I use WhatsApp? Any person working with young people like that, use WhatsApp because you can see when they're airing you. Yeah, when they blue tick you. I don't read it and I use that against them, don't you? But I think in those moments, and they said, this is what I can tell you what they say to me.
Yeah,
When they
yeah.
said, lots of them call me Miss, don't know why, but Miss, you're real. And I think whenever I meet with a young person, for the first 2 sessions, I don't ask them about them. I tell them all about me. I tell them all about me. Do you know what I mean? And some deep stuff, and you literally see their faces and you see as you're saying certain things, like even little things that they relate with. I can start off with me like, grew up on the council estate. It's like, oh, me too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I witnessed this, I saw that, and it's like, oh, and you literally see them because they come in a bit like,
Yeah, who are you?
I'm meeting with you for. And then I think it's about being relatable. I'm not saying that you have to have gone through that stuff, but you need to understand it. If you don't understand why a young person would go missing, if you don't understand why a young person would date a gang member or whatever, or allow themselves to be passed around, if you don't get it, then you're going to come at them from a place where you don't get it. And they're going to sense that. But because I'm coming from a place of, okay, I get it, but how are we going to get you out of this? It's like, oh, okay, so we're on the, do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like we're on the same, it's like I'm not up there like trying to, I'm like, okay, we're here.
Yeah.
But that is, you see, this is interesting you say that, because I think that we're trying to emulate a form of the gospel that's not real, which is a point I made earlier. So what we're trying to do is, I want you, Christine, when you come in, this is why you got to wear this blue, you got to wear this, and you got to wear this.
And that's not going to work.
Take them out,
Ever.
and
Why'd
you shave
your
your head.
hair?
What's this
Just
line
like
on your head?
man.
What's that line?
You shouldn't wear bands of
Bands of
bands hairstyle.
This top, man. So we see that, and sometimes people, they're like, I don't grow up in that. That's not my experience right now. That's not what matters. Whereas you said something earlier. You said something just now, which was, I'm not up there trying to pull them up. I'm down here. When you look at the Gospels, like Christ, people are like, I love Jesus. You know why? Because he came down there. He got his knees dirty. It's like he didn't wear a tie per se, if you know what I'm saying. He didn't look. He didn't wear the thing. He got down because that's where people are like, okay, I can see hope now. Do you know what I mean? I can see hope now.
That's key.
It's relating. God is here. And I think, I'm also thinking that people think that Jesus was, not that I'm getting into a religious thing now, but they whether they believed he was Christ or not, they're like, that man,
I like it.
He's a good man.
I will follow him because he's
I've got
talking
time for
to
him.
me. Yeah, he's talking to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's talking to me. He's down there with me.
You said something earlier, which
What did I say?
you, because I listen.
Okay.
I listen. I'm trying to listen more. Trying to learn that. But you said something earlier that I didn't think that you thought was true. What we're talking about when you said that there's no hope for these kids. In reality, because you're working with them on a day to day, it feels like that.
It feels like that.
It feels like there's no.
A lot of days.
It feels like that. But you've got the answer. You gave us the answer.
Which is
Just love on them. And that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Just love on them. And if we're saying that, because this is what we're trying to be, safe zone. This is what we're trying to be, a place where people can come and feel loved in the realest sense of the word. Not church, not come and sign up to this organization and now you're a member. Let's take a photo. Let's send it to the messenger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we love you. Maybe I should have said that.
I'm gonna have to edit that. Like it was just flowing. You get me?
But the reason why it buns me is because I've seen young people here. People don't need to know where we are, but they can probably tell. I've seen people here that they love God. They like. I'm speaking to them on WhatsApp. I'm speaking to them and I'm rapping with them, so I know what's going on in their life. I'm sending them money, little things like that. Like, you don't have to pay me back. It's love. They'll come to church, tracksuit, scruffy, in the middle of divine service while preachers sweating up there.
Sweating, man.
And while he's preaching, people notice that he or she has come in. All attention goes on them. Immediately, they feel type of way. And then the first thing that happens after the service is, where have you been? And I've always seen that to be completely stupid. Like, why are you doing that? But you've opened my mind today. They're not doing it because they hate the person.
No.
They care. But their strategy, it's the way.
It's the way.
I guess what I'm trying to ask is,
I guess it opens a question. I guess, like, what? How do we do this?
yeah,
Is that the question?
yeah, essentially,
Like, if you was a church building organization, just make sure it doesn't cut out. If you was a church building organization, what would Christina suggest? Is that right?
yes.
As a strategy.
The words weren't coming up, but that's it right there.
I think you've already said it though, and it's and I feel like I'm saying it, and it might just sound like I'm saying it, but it is love. It is just that. Okay, and what does love look like? I guess maybe what does love look like to someone that comes in to somewhere thinking that they're about to be ridiculed, whatever, and it's doing the opposite of what they think it might be. Going back to the prodigal son, when he came in, where have you been? You took so long. You spent all the money? So much things Dad could have been within his rights to say. Do you know what I mean? Turn to everyone that was around, kill the fat calf, put a ring on it. Okay, let me not. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and as I said before, we've come to the point that we understand sometimes why us as a church will go into that frame of mind of getting at someone to show that we love them, and it's just stopping that. Stop, like as I said, when that young person put their arm around me, I've been worried. I've been going to countless meetings about this young person, trying to get them back, calling off their phone and not answering, that kind of stuff. So when I first saw her, I wanted to rough her up and drag her home. I did. Do you know what I mean? And I wanted to tell her off. But I thought to myself, okay, Chris, if you do that, and she's to go away again, is she not going to remember this encounter?
Yeah.
And if in this time you just love on her and say, I was worried about you, I'm so happy I've seen you, are you okay? Do you need something to eat? Can I take you somewhere? Do you want to call someone? Yeah. She went back again, but then she came back. She returned home after. Do you know what I mean? And it's just thinking about, people are always going to remember how you made them feel, especially in horrible. When you're in a horrible situation, yeah, you're gonna think, oh, do you know what? But when I went, about to say church name, when I went to certain church, they offered me somewhere to stay. They offered me some soup. They offered, like, when I walked in, everyone was just like happy to see me, gave me hugs. Do you know what I mean? That is what that person's going to remember. And what I was saying before, if love is, if you are throwing love at this person, after a while it's going to consume them too. It's just like, what am I fighting? This is overpowering every other feeling that I'm feeling, every other experience. And whenever they feel that they're in danger, whenever they feel that they're uncomfortable, you're going to think back to, okay, so what's better than this? You always do that. If you're in a relationship, that is not going very well, and you've been in a relationship before that has been going well, you think back to that relationship, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, things were better when I was with so-and-so.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
If I am a young girl that is being used by a gang, I'm being passed around, they're making me take weed from here to there, all this kind of stuff, I'm being used, I'm being abused, and I'm just low. If I've ever had a positive experience, that's what's going to come to mind. When Prodigal Son was in the pig's pen, home came to mind. Why? Home was a positive experience. Home was safe. He wanted for nothing at home. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like making sure that us as a church or a faith group or whatever just continue to be that positive experience for young people, so that they don't think back and don't look back in anger, don't look back and think,
I ain't going back there.
I'm not going back there. Do you know what I mean? Like, just continue. And I believe that it's hard work, but I believe that this is why we need to talk about it, and the awareness is to make people aware, because it could be someone on the other side of the lens that is like, oh, do you know what, I did that last week to someone, but it's because I missed them. So maybe now they might be like, do you know what, if they do come back, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be like, yo, like, where you going for lunch? Can we catch up? Like, how are you doing? Do you need anything from me? They're going to remember that, and if it's a positive experience, if it's love, you don't think they're going to keep coming back for more? That's like anything that's good. The same thing. Let's just say there's a young person and they're having sex and they're enjoying it. The reason why they continue to do it is because they enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And it's this the same thing. If they're having a positive experience with you, if you're continuing to show them love, that might be able to overtake that. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it's coming. Just look how many members they are within majority of people's church bodies. That whole body going up against one man, you'll win. No? That if we do it properly.
Yeah, if you do it properly.
As I said, I'm at the moment, I'm going up against 27-year-old older boyfriend who has his own house and BMW and she wants for nothing, blah, blah, whatever. Might meet with me weekly, but that looks a bit more.
Yeah, she's got it.
If there were 10 of me and we met with her every day, do you know what
So are you're talking about how the church can come together. So, I mean, you're looking at, it depends what church you go to. Like, this church is getting itself together on that level. But some churches I know for a fact, are so out of touch. They wouldn't have a clue. Because I think they're so cultured into turn up, dress up, and sit down and listen, which is, you can't even teach kids that nowadays. They used to be, but they're so far from, in a sense, reality. It looks like you're saying that we need to change our model.
Absolutely.
You can go into that if you want.
I would even go even further, Not only, not only should the church show love. You see a young person, that's out there in the world. Why don't you give them a position? Sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? But they're sinful. They're bunning weed afterwards and they're whatever. And what's your point? How, but you know, why not? Why not give them a position? Why not? What is going to say to someone more than I don't care what you're doing, I don't care what you've done, other than, oh, do you know what? We need someone here. What, you into DJing? Yeah, we need someone to run sound. Can you help us out at church and run sound?
What are you saying?
I'm saying stop the folly.
No.
And stop.
No.
I'm saying.
What are you saying by saying, like,
Aren't you condoning their?
yeah? You're saying it's all right.
This is
Okay, I get that question all the time. I'll answer that with something else. So I work in sexual health.
Yeah.
I take young people to the clinic, and their parents don't know that they've gone to the clinic. People say to me many times, aren't you encouraging young people to have sex, blah, blah, whatever. Whether I took them to the clinic or not, they're going to have sex. That's nothing to do with me. I never advertised sex for them. I never created it. I'm not doing it in front of them. I'm not doing anything that is saying, yes, go and do this, go and do this. What I have acknowledged and what I am smart enough to understand is that they're going to do it. Whether I'm in this role, whether I'm not, if someone else is there, whatever. What can I do to ensure that they are safe?
Okay.
Because I can't and I won't go around preaching to young people, you know what, you should stop having sex, you should close your legs, you should do this, you should do that. Yeah? And also, why shouldn't I do that? Because I think I'm not going to get anywhere doing that. I really feel like I don't think there's anything that I've chosen to stop doing because someone else has told me to stop it.
And you're
It's
seeing that in your
always
job.
been.
In your
Absolutely.
job, you're not stopping anybody from doing
I'm
it.
not stopping no one. Everything, and I think personally, everything that I've stopped doing, I've done because I've wanted to. I've wanted to. You have to make that decision. And I think sometimes in church, we feel that it's our duty to tell people what they should stop doing. And we put that as our number one focus. You shouldn't do that, you know. You shouldn't wear that. You shouldn't eat that. But really and truly, what we preach, when we're trying at our campaigns, when we're trying to get people into the church, yeah, is stuff like come as you are, and God will change your heart. And I believe in all that stuff 100%. But why does that go to the back burner when these people are coming through the door? Why does come as you are go in the vestry in a little box that's locked up? Or we didn't actually mean literally come as you are. Like, don't come off road in your tracksuit with weed hanging out. Why not? Why can't they come there?
You see, you just gone radical, right? So I just want you to back it up.
Okay.
Because this is going out there, yeah?
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that you don't appreciate seeing young girls having sex. And you don't appreciate anyone smoking weed. But I think you've worked out, as I and as Solomon has worked out, that actually everybody who is, all of these girls, they don't really want to be doing it. They're doing it to cope. I've worked with girls who do it to just go to sleep at night. They're smoking a lot of weed just to go to sleep. And some girls
But why is that? And that's
why.
Yeah.
So telling them not to do it is like, well, that's ridiculous. Because that's not the cure. It's like I had a conversation once with in a church, and I said, what about homosexuality? How do we deal with it? And one lady said, well, then they should get castrated. So I was like, that's because you don't understand why they do. You don't understand that homosexuality isn't about the testicles. It's about this, right?
That mindset.
The mindset
prevails in our church, man.
Yeah.
So we think that people, Christina, just stop. Stop doing it, man.
Yeah.
But you don't understand. It's as addictive as chicken.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like donuts. It's like, oh my gosh, I drove past the shop. I'm turning back, man, and you just do a wheelie. You go back, man, and you double park on a double yellow.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like hoping that the traffic warden don't catch you.
Yeah.
And you're in that shop and you're buying them donuts because it's addiction.
Yeah.
Or we eat for comfort because we're lonely, because this is what we know. So telling me to stop, I know, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Have you stopped doing what you're... So what I'm saying is that telling people to stop, and I know this is what you're saying, is not the actual answer.
No.
There's another way to deal with it.
Yeah. And there's always an underlying issue why anyone does whatever they do.
Yeah.
So whenever I start working with a young girl, in the beginning, I do this outcomes tracker thing, and it has kind of every aspect of it. I'm gonna try and remember the stuff in there. So it says like finances, and they kind of have to score themselves out of a 10, whatever. There's another sheet that helps them know how to score it. So 0 would be I'm always broke. I'm always trying to borrow money. I do risky things to like get money, blah blah. 10 being I've got loads of saving. I know how to whatever, and we do that for everything: substance misuse, sexual health, emotions, blah blah blah, whatever. And even though lots of girls I work with, it's because they're affiliated with a gang or being exploited. There might be things on that go to that straight away. So it might be like, oh, score your sexual health. Like how safe are you being? And you might think that that's what I pay attention to. I pay attention to the bit that says emotions.
Wow.
So when you're scoring,
That's deep.
Let's just say it's a young person scoring 10 everything, yeah, gets to emotions. And it really says, how are you feeling, whatever. It's like a 1.
That's right.
That's what you're
And that
focusing on.
there is not one girl that I've worked with that has scored higher than a 2. Emotions. In terms of self-esteem, there are lots of my girls. One of my girls, it's always stuck with me. She said, I feel worthless. Those were her words. 13 years old. I feel
13.
worthless. 13.
And you know that is not just by itself. That came
No.
from somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You look back behind the
Yeah.
curtain of their
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You said it earlier on, like home. Parents haven't learned to connect with their children and build them up. And if you're in them, if you grow up in Stockholm estate, you're a lucky one, isn't it? But if you grow up in estates, and it's not just the estates, because actually I was looking at some studies and it showed that even affluent children in the upper higher classes have the exact same problems.
They do.
But you don't see it. They class their crimes or their behaviours are slightly different, but they still suffer. That's why they listen to rap music. White kids listen to rap music more than black kids.
Yeah.
So it's that a lot of parents do not connect with their children, haven't developed the skills to make sure that emotionally they can walk this walk. And so it doesn't matter. This is why, like now, I can't even see who anyone is. Because whenever they wear a tie or if they come with a tracksuit, I see the same person. And when you're telling
That's
us,
how it should be.
that's how it should be, innit?
But to trying to get everyone, and do you know what? Sometimes I think to myself, do you know what? Things are never going to change, but they can.
They can, innit?
They can, and I think it's as I said, it's having these conversations. It's this awareness for you to even just look at yourself to be like, do you know what? Okay, there's something I could change there, or someone that might watch might even have a cringe and be like, as I said before, like, do you know what? I kind of did that, or I kind of said that, or I've kind of been treating my daughter in this way, or my son in this way, or whatever. And it's all out of love, but love is not what's getting through to that young person. What's getting through to them is, if you do this, it's going to result in this, and don't you dare do this, and whatever. And it's just like, it becomes too much. And sometimes a young person will be like, do you know what? Do you know what I mean? You're not speaking in a language that I want to hear, and the language I want to hear is love. And I think sometimes what we try to do is you might panic as a parent. You think, like I said before, I'm passionate about prevention, but you got to be careful in your delivery. If you're panicking and you talk to a young person, make sure you don't do this, they're going to pick up on that and be like, whoa, chill. Do you know what I mean? That's why, you just speak to them very down to earth. Do you know what? If you do A, it's going to lead to B. Oh, and lots of times it's light bulb, like, oh. And it can also use to A.1 and A.2 and B.3. Do you know what I mean? That's showing them the whole picture, and this is how this might make you feel. And then in the future, this might be the result of this, and that might have the impact of that. And it's like going back to what we're talking about of, sometimes I get asked the questions about, in terms of for me being a Christian, and I totally understand what we believe as a faith in terms of sex and sex out of marriage, and stuff like that. And it's like, if I'm working with young people that are doing it, and I'm supporting them by taking them to the clinics, aren't I saying to them, yeah, I agree. Am I saying that? And what I was saying is that, no, I'm not saying that. But what I'm not going to do is say stop doing that, because it's not going to get me anywhere. Me saying you shouldn't do that, lots of times I got the parents telling that. Did it do anything?
It's never worked, has it?
No. And I said then there's always going to be a reason why. And for some young people, it's be like, I just like doing it.
Yeah.
What am I going to say to that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This on the surface. Another young person might be, do you know what, well, and this is taking it deep, but I was sexually abused when I was younger by someone in church or whatever. And do you know what I mean? That opened a can of worms, and then now it's blah, blah, blah. And that has happened. I know that for a fact. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different reasons, and sometimes we can just come at a young, whoever, and be like, you should just stop doing that. Stop smoking weed. Stop drinking. Stop doing this. Do you know what I mean? But as you were saying earlier, think of all the other things that you might be addicted to, and it might not be as bad or as frowned upon as, say, you know, burning weed, that kind of stuff, whatever. But as I say, lots of us have things that we just do and we just can't stop doing it. And someone saying to you, stop. There's nothing that I've ever done that I've, in my heart, not wanted to do, that someone saying to me, Christina, stop, has worked. That has never worked. It's always been, there's been an experience with me that's made me think, oh, do you know what? I shouldn't be doing this no more. It's never been, don't do that, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I won't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, that it's kids.
Well, it's deeper. I mean, really, I don't know. I'm gonna have to edit somehow, because in the palm of our hand now, we've got access to porn.
Yeah.
Which is extremely. They were saying that 8-year-olds are addicted to it. You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So you know, by the time they're 13,
Yeah.
what are they gonna stop? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're telling someone to stop, and then they know they just reach and just go like that, just do it. Just telling someone to stop it is not the ticket. But we have to have something more than the power of I say, use the term sin. We've got to have something more. As a church, as a people, though we're going to show them love, we need to organise ourselves so that it looks like what we have is greater.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I think. I mean, you can.
But that's why I was also talking about a young person is not going to view something great if they can't be a part of it.
So that's going back to that point.
It is going back to that point.
So you're saying
it is going back to that point, because
today.
it's. I'm going to say it because at the end of the day, this is on the platform as we're all Christians, yeah, and I'm pretty sure the majority of the audience is going to be Christians. There's one thing that we always say, but no one believes. Hardly no one believes it. Is that we're all sinners and all sins the same. No one believes it.
No one believes that.
No one believes it. And the reason how I know no one believes it is because there's some people that are allowed up there and there's some that are not. And the reason why some are allowed up there and some are not is because we grade sins. And we say, oh, do you know, you did that one, so you go down there. And you're all right, so you can be an usher, but just don't go up there. But you know what? You are close to Jesus. You're on your way, so you can go up there. And we do this thing, but who... It's going into different, but who gave us this formula?
We did.
Who told us this? Do we, and I always say this to kind of measure it, yeah? To measure things. If someone comes through the door, yeah, and let's just say they're willing. Let's just say they're willing, and they say, oh, do you know what, I'm a DJ, you know? Like, I know sound, like, can I help with the sound? But you see that they just put out a cigarette before they come in.
Yeah.
In Christina's church, in Christina's Sabbath church, yeah, of course.
That's crazy church, man.
Come on in, show me.
No,
Like,
for
what
real,
do you,
for real.
what do you think? Do you think you can train up some other people? Because what you've got to understand is that you can't reach someone. Everything has to be within reach. So would you not bring them in? Would you not bring them in and engulf them in goodness? Gospel is what? Good news. Yeah? A lot of the time it sounds like bad news. For a lot of young people, the gospel is bad news. It's because what I'm doing, I'm going to go to hell. That's bad news, not good news. Why am I coming in here to hear bad news? It's going to come in and going to tell me off and say, you must wear this, you must do this, whatever. It's not. A lot of young people don't have the experience of the gospel as in what it really is, which is the good news, which is in Jesus loves you, Jesus saves. There's nothing that you can do. There is nothing that you can do.
If that in the forefront of your institution, forget it. Like, if a child, by 9, a child's gone. They'll be there till maybe 18, 25, maybe, if you're lucky. But they're gone. Spiritually, they're gone. And I agree with you. To have people a part of...
I feel like there was a but coming.
There's no buts, man.
Do you know what?
There's no, but I'm not going to try and put.
Yeah,
I grew up with crazy standards. I'm
Yeah.
trying to undo them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that in your thing. You're right.
But I know people are gonna think it's crazy, but you have to check yourself. If you really, and I'm not saying I've never thought, I don't know, that person's a bit dodgy, you know, or do you know what I mean? Or we're all human, and you have those those kind of moments. But when we really think about it, who gave us that right or that position to be like, yeah, you can, no, you can't, and I feel like, and I said this earlier, I feel like sometimes as a church, we go against everything that we preach to people. We preach love, and we preach grace, and we preach mercy. But then when it comes down to it, and when, say, like someone has fallen or whatever they've done, all of that goes out of the window sometimes.
When what?
When say someone's like caught out in something, someone's caught in sin, or you can visibly see that someone is doing something against what we believe to be correct and what we believe to be right, it's where they must pay. There must be a punishment, you know, straight away. That's what we're saying. And it's like, let's just say that person came to campaigns and they were baptized, and this is what happened to me. And this is what happened to me.
I know
and
this routine,
it was preached to you. Jesus loved all this stuff to get you to that emotional place where you walk down and you're crying at the altar. And the reason why you're giving your life to Christ is because what's being preached to you is that there's grace and there's mercy. So you know that, do you know what? I'm gonna mess up, but the preacher said there's grace. The preacher said there's mercy. The preacher said this is home. The preacher said there's nothing you can do. Then you slip.
Grace
Has gone on annual leave. Mercy's been made redundant.
It's true though. Grace will
And it's deep, and you literally go against.
The small print says, unless you came in with a belly.
Yeah. Sorry, that's visible. If it had been one of those ones that we couldn't see, then maybe. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, this is something that it's not new. A lot generations before us probably had this conversation as well. Hopefully, but it's done time now that we finished talking about it and do it. Let's have a church. Let's have an organization. Let's have something that just literally believes in the gospel and believes in just loving on people and having those doors open and allowing God to do His work. It's not us. I'm not supposed to be telling people what the.
Careful.
I'm not supposed to be telling people what they should and what they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
If at the forefront, like God's love needs to be there, man, and we preach it all the time, and the Holy Spirit will work and God will work. But I feel like lots of people in church don't believe that. They think, no, the Holy Spirit's not working fast enough. Let me go and tell them about themselves, because too many times they've come to church and they, you know, and it's just like, guys.
All right, pause there. Yeah, I know you want to say something, but can I catch her on something? Because we have to guide each other. What are you saying?
What am I saying?
Because I have to help you. If you're doing something that's not good for yourself, I have to help you.
But you do it in.
It's the way I do it.
Everything's the way. Because absolutely, okay.
Right, remember your point.
So I'm saying love, and we've got to do love and blah blah blah. Obviously, if someone, let's just say a couple start coming to church here, and in the service, the guy starts thumping up his wife.
Okay.
I've seen it. It's happened.
Wow.
I was little and I remember it. It happened in church.
Don't say which one.
I won't say. It happened. I'm not saying that someone is not supposed to, but obviously to drag the guy aside and start punching him or dash him out, you can't come back here again or whatever. And sometimes we can do that because they say that sin offends me, it upsets me, it angers me.
It's not unacceptable. Yeah.
And to show love to someone in that situation, that's difficult.
No, you can't come back here.
That's difficult. And I get that's difficult. I'm not saying that it's like ABC, but the love side of it, the taking the love angle of it, would be taking it to one side and talking to him, working with him, finding out where's this coming from. Are you aware? Is there help? Not because when you dash him out there, you think he's gonna stop Is he gonna stop hitting? Is he gonna stop abusing his wife or anyone else? With you saying, and he's probably coming in thinking, I need help with this. I need help with this.
We forget that.
And then we forget that, that's unacceptable, get out and not come back.
You said a lot. And this is deep stuff. Chris, if there was, you're speaking to parents a lot in this. In what you said, you're speaking to parents a lot.
Yeah.
You're speaking to young people as well. But we believe that church is comprised of families.
It is.
Yeah. So, if you could say one thing to parents who are watching this right now, who've got adolescent children running around, they're still coming to church, you know, but they don't want to come to church, and the parents know they don't want to come to church. Look, I'm honest. My son is 7.
It's boring.
And yeah, do you know what I mean? And it's like, he's coming to church.
Yeah.
He got a choice. He can't stay at home.
Yeah.
He's coming to church. You know? And I know that when he gets older, if I don't start, and a lot of that's to do with me as well, I don't necessarily enjoy waking up during the week 5 a.m. and then Sabbath 5 a.m. as well. It's like, it just doesn't make sense to me, but that's another story. But there's going to be parents who are watching who the kids that you're looking after, that's their children.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What would you say to them?
One piece of advice.
One piece of advice.
What?
Got to sort through the 10, innit?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I always like to give examples. One young person showed me their phone once. Yeah. And they said, look at all these messages from my mum. Now, if you got iPhone, you know, the grey is what the person says.
Yeah, please.
And the blue
is
is what you said. Or it match up with green if the person ain't on the iPhone, innit?
So,
Anyway, send us text message. And there were messages from her parent, yeah, going back as far. Consistent things like, I love you, you're beautiful, I hope you're having a good day, blah, blah, blah. There was no blue, no green. She didn't reply. Yeah. So I said to her, what's that all about? Whatever. And then she said, whenever I feel low, I scroll through these messages. So I said, how comes you haven't responded? Yeah. She said, I feel too bad.
Wow.
Yeah. But I have every faith that one day she's going to respond. And as what we're saying, obviously things are going to take time. Her mum is showing love. She's continuously showing love. And she's probably showing love at times when she's frustrated. She's sending her those messages when she's gone missing. She's sending those messages when she's getting phone calls from school saying, your child's done X, Y, and Z. That's totally different. Yeah, that's another thing. But there's mum, and she's consistent, and she's consistent, and she's consistent. And that young person knows mum loves her. And when she's really low, that's what she goes to for affirmation. That's what she goes to for comfort. That's what she goes to for support. Now, you might think, well, but it's not really doing anything. It's not. But she's still. But she says, even in times when she feels like doing certain things, she'll look at the messages. And that can even go, and that's to parents to just keep loving your children. They are going to annoy you. They are going to some parents stay up at night not knowing where their kids are. As I said to you, one of my young people, she's been missing for over a month. Don't know where she is. Yeah, can't imagine I'm worried about her. I know that she's lost her phone, and I text her every day. I know her phone's lost. She doesn't have it. Even if she did have it, she doesn't have a charger. I text her every day, in hope, just because I just feel I need to do something to help with this feeling of I'm worried, yeah. But going back to what I was saying about that just being consistent, and you might not see the results straight away, but trust and know, you don't know what that is doing for that young person. That goes to church as well. If and I've had my experiences of being on the outside or whatever and feeling far away and blah 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 blah, and I think that if love was extended to me as a consistent thing, then I probably would have felt differently about things quicker. I would have probably come back. Here we go again. Quicker, whatever that means. But I would say just, you never know, parents, you never know. You're never really going to know all of what your child is going through. As I said, I work with young people, and some parents don't even know that I work with them because they don't have to know. Yeah. And sometimes that's to protect them. Because as I said to you before, there are some young people that if their parents knew that I was working with them, they've said to me, oh, they'll kill me. And they're not saying they'll kill me like as a figure of speech. No. They mean it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, to parents, I would say love on your children. Love on them in every way. When they frustrate you, love on them even more. When they're bad, love on them even more. And that's difficult because you're frustrated and you're annoyed and you've gone against what I've said, and you're disgracing my family and my name, and now everyone hears and everyone knows what you've been doing, whatever. And that is when the love needs to be increased. And that's what I saw in those messages. She was just like, she could remember, she was like, this was when school called home. This is the message she sent the next morning. Wow. She remembered. This is what she said to me the next morning.
I think it's fair to say that parents aren't always bad.
No.
And sometimes kids are just bent when they come out of the womb, and that's an anomaly that we don't expect. But sometimes our kids let us down because we've got expectations. You want the best, you want the daughter to listen and choose a good man and get the education and whatnot, but they don't always do that. Sometimes they just go the total opposite direction, and we don't expect that. And I see this all the time. And a lot of parents don't recognize sometimes how they have contributed to the problem. They think I've done my best, I'm doing everything I can, and he's just not. But it's true what you're saying. At least the one thing you must be able to leave with a child is to know that they are loved. Because I said to my daughter all the time, there is nothing you could do in your imagination that would make me hate you. I'll have boundaries. I have boundaries. You cannot come in this house with X, depends on it, but I will love you forever. Yeah. And it came out of my mouth before I even realized what it was I was really saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was that kind of way, and that's when I look at Christ now. It just made me think of Jesus. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how you treat me, innit? Yeah. The way you treat me now, I've got to treat other people. I just got to do it. It's hard. Because some people need a slap, you know Absolutely. What I mean? And some of these kids need beating, but they have to see the love. They got to see what Christ showed me.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. Exactly that. It's being as close to that as possible to our young people, to everyone. Obviously, we're talking about young people at the moment, but being that and when we really when we really think about it, let me go, and I'm not trying to bang on about this, but let's just say when I was saying about giving them a position, really think about it, God sees and knows everything, yet still, and I'll just put ... And if we're to extend that same thing, that we are all messed up and we're all sinful. I'm sinful, but the amount of times that people come up to me like, oh, do you know what, you bless me, and I'm thinking, if you only ever knew. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, God will still use me.
Yeah.
He will still use me in spite of me. Yeah. But then when it comes to other people, other sinners, on the same level, so God's up there, we're down there, whatever. When it comes to other people on the same sinful level, we're like, nah.
You know, it's deep what you just said. I've done some things for people or groups of people. I'm like, God, you done use me. Like, do they know who I am? Yeah, Original Plan, Safe Zone, Elder, this and that, teacher, worker. They don't know who I am, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know who you are, they don't know who you are. But God uses us in a certain way. So it's true. You got a man out there and he's on the ropes with his addiction, but he can help people.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
they're,
they're gonna
they're the best
remember
people.
that.
They were the disciples, man.
This is the thing though, and I feel like some stories in the Bible are just stories in the Bible to a lot of us.
Yeah.
They're just stories in the Bible. Like, there's so many things. It's like God used this person, they were a liar. And I see it be shared around on Facebook or wherever, and people say amen, amen, amen. But when it comes down to it, and I get why, because some of us, we've been hurt by a liar. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, this person used this person, they were lying. I'm thinking, I was hurt by a liar. No, you can't go up there. That hurt me. Do you know what I mean? And it is difficult to show God's love and everything, but that's what we should strive for. We shouldn't be like, it's difficult, so I'm not going to do it, and I'm just going to stick saying what we're doing. Unless you're this, you can't come in. Unless you're that, you can't go up there. You can't stay there and sit in that. And I always say, I was saying it earlier, like, to measure something, really, when you're about to do something, someone's about to walk in, and you say to them, you know, you can't come in here, whatever. Do you think you're going to get extra star in your crown? I always say that.
Yeah.
When you think about it that way, you might think, oh, do you know what? I'm not actually, God's not going to be like, well done, Solomon. You sent them back out there. Well done. You're doing the opposite. In God's eyes, you're doing the opposite. We think we come like, yeah, we're keeping the church safe and clean, whatever. And it's like, who told you? It's not even your church. It's not even your church. What are you doing?
No, we have to wrap up. You're deep. You're deep.
There's so many things that are just pop.
Still running. It's got us. It's got us.
Words of wisdom.
Wow. Thank you so much, man. We're gonna definitely put into practice some of the things that we've learned today.
Definitely.
But we thank you for, in a sense, your consultation, but your spirit-led, Bible-based consultation. God bless you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for being able to talk, because this is what we need to do. We need to talk more and then do.
Talk and do.
Talk and then do.
Safe Zone has started, man.
There's more to come.
God bless.